Who?
Ah, whoa. All right, it's just gonna be you and me since it's third Thursday. I haven't advertised this one yet. Figure just make it a one-on-one. So I was thinking we're gonna approach this not as you just learning a whole bunch of trivia about Python. Oh, I didn't want to.
Okay.
What the hell? We're gonna approach this towards like we're training you to be able to do it. And so I kind of want to do a little bit of a recap from last time and kind of do a little bit of drilling so that you get a few more repetitions on what we did last time. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. So pull that up. And then let's real quick open up Python. So I think you can just type Python and it should enter. And remember, do you remember what this was called? This interface? It was it's a
command line?
yeah. Well, all right. So the command line is where you entered Python. Honestly, this is trivia. It does not matter. It's, you know, maybe they would tell you.
I mean, if it's giving me directions and I don't know what an interstate sign is, like it would be good to know, like,
Yeah. So the command line is how you entered into the Python interface. And now here in the Python interface, this thing is what's called a REPL, and that stands for read, evaluate, print, and loop. And so right now it's waiting for you to put in something for it to read. And so hopefully you'll be giving it, a properly formatted or proper syntax Python command, and then it will evaluate that. And once it does the evaluations, it prints it, and then it loops back towards waiting for your next command. And so the print will be
unless there's not properly formatted syntax, and it'll try and do its best to tell you what the hell you did wrong.
right. And so it'll print something. Often when it goes right, it won't print anything unless you've explicitly told it to print something. But yeah, if it goes wrong, it'll print out an error for you and hopefully help you trace back through the like webs of code that you've gone through. So, all right. So REPL, last time we made dictionaries. So do you remember how to make a dictionary? Could you make a dictionary with two sets of keys and values and name it something? Let's say, let's see, we did fridges last time. So this time, let's go on a picnic and make it coolers.
I'm just going to keep it lowercase.
Perfect.
When in doubt. No, I guess it doesn't really matter as long as you remember.
Yeah, exactly. And then that comes down to styling. And there's a whole bunch of talk about various styles of doing things. And as far as compilers are concerned, they don't care about a lot of things. And they can read some real gobbledygook. Okay, so dictionaries have the squiggly brace, not the
Okay.
squiggly. Right. So we're going to use a string for the key. And so let's put beverages in first. And then some sort of beverage.
I'll have a Coke.
I love a Coke.
Do you know that reference from Boondock Saints?
Yes, sir. I've watched that movie so many times. All right, and then one more thing. So cool. Yeah. Might as well just do one thing. Yeah, one key, one value. Your cooler has a Coke in it. And so let's look at the cooler. How do you reference what's in a cooler? Just type cooler and hit enter.
Yeah.
And then it's going to show you the whole thing. And then if you only wanted to see what the beverage was in the cooler, it's cooler. And then in square brackets, what do you put? Nope, but it's a string. See what do strings have? Yep, there you go. All right, and then that'll give you a Coke. And so if you wanted to add something to the cooler, do you remember how to do that? Hint, it's just like the last instruction, but then you do the like equal sign thing. And so instead of beverage, what should we have? A snack. So a reminder, if you want to cheat, you can just press up on the keyboard and it'll do the last instruction. But now that you're, yeah, cool. So snack, close the brackets. And then to answer your question about how much white space, you could do either. I typically
But
like
it
to,
can't be combo. You can't go space equals nothing or nothing equal sign space.
yeah,
Like, does it care if I?
well, let's close the bracket first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you need to and then pass it another string. So what's the snack? Like chips or something? Let's try that. All right, now let's see what's in your cooler. Boom, got a beverage and a snack. You're like most of the way to a picnic. Okay, all right, so then if you wanted to find the snack that's in your cooler, how would you reference that? Oop, it's in the cooler. Oh no. Nice. There you go. Save some time. Boom. Chips. Suck it. All right. So remember, we also did some things where we made another dictionary, and then we made a dictionary that had each of those dictionaries in it. We don't need to do that now, but I just wanted to drill you back through the dictionary format.
We just put we named different fridges. We had the communist fridge that I spelled wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Comrade fridge.
Comrade fridge, yes.
Yeah, the communisty fridge at some point.
Yeah, yeah. One of the apartments of some of my buddies in college had a communist fridge, and
Nice.
it was literally a free game, free fair game for all.
Oh yeah.
So
We did that
you
one household I was in, we had a party fund.
okay?
Anytime you had like loose cash, just throw it in the party fund. And then like if anyone was ever like, oh, I don't know if I want to go out, we're like, all right, let's tap into the party fund. All right, I'm gonna go get some more water. Make another cooler and then make a dictionary with both of the coolers in it. I'll be back.
Okay.
SacPy tutoring, brought to you by Takis.
Brought to you by Whatsies. Oh, we have chips. Or whatever they are.
Yeah, they're like Takis chips. Boom. All right, what's wrong with that one?
I'm thinking it's the plus.
Would that be?
I was just trying to add multiple things into the thing called Igloo.
Smart. Just look up.
Um,
If you look up a few lines, you can see how what Python said about. Oh, I literally meant like just like 3 lines up. See how you looked at what was in your cooler, and then it gave you the dictionary. That dictionary is what Python spit out, and so that's a pretty good indicator that that is exactly how it should be. Oh no, you were right. That was right.
was?
Oh, yeah, sure, you can do a space. That's fine. Because it is how that is, right? Oh, but you do need to pair up your quotes. Fun fact, while it is just showing single quotes, there you go. It was the comma. That's what you're missing. All right, and then you need to put a value for your food.
Something food like
Takis?
uh apple.
Oh,
Because it's
there you
good
go.
for you.
That's good. Very helpful.
And there.
Boom. Nice.
And so then we'll do the Igloo has now, hold on. Yes, that is what it has. Um, and then picnic.
You like the plus sign, huh?
Supposed to be a comma? What's it supposed to be? I'm trying to put both of those dictionaries into the thing called a dictionary called picnic.
All right, so same as the last one, you can reference the format of the other one. And so there's that colon, and what it's separating, the first value to the left of the colon is the key, and the value to the right of it is the value.
Gotcha. And do I need, because these are dictionaries already, I do need the square bracket?
Right, so right now you've got a dictionary that's called Igloo, right? And then a dictionary called Cooler. So those are both values. So each of them would want their own key. And so maybe one is for Greg and one is for the ants or something.
So
The beer and the apple is for Greg. So maybe Greg gets the igloo.
They're very small containers.
Oh. Mm,
So if I press enter, okay,
yeah,
doesn't what is it like?
I like it though. It's good intuitive syntax. All right, so let's make another dictionary. So first off, dictionary's got the braces, right?
Um
I like the picnic. That's a good idea. Picnic is a good name for a, a superset of coolers. Because picnics, people bring coolers, right?
yeah, and then
There
there's
can
a
be many.
generic one from Walmart, and then there's the special one from the camping store called an igloo.
Sure. Ooh, I like the general idea that the camping store is selling you a cooler that has or an igloo that has like food in it already. That's pretty cool. Um, okay, so this picnic with multiple coolers involved is also going to be a dictionary. So dictionaries use so delete the stuff to the right of the equal sign. And then you don't need to scroll the terminal. However, you could open it up, like grab the top of it and give yourself a little more real estate. So you can see some of the past stuff. Now you should be able to scroll and like get a little bit more on there. There you go. But the good news was there was just a like 3 or 4 lines ahead already had a valid dictionary interface that you could reference. And so when you called igloo, it gave you beer, Modelo, food, apple. So you could highlight all of that right now and save yourself some time. And then like that's gonna be a whole bunch of syntax. So highlight that. Yep, copy it. And then yeah. Oh,
I didn't copy.
did it not let you do that? Oh. Try right clicking maybe. Maybe it allows you to paste. Oh no, it doesn't. Wow. Damn. Virtual Studio is making you work for it.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's good to type through it because this is like you're developing muscle memory and like pattern recognition and stuff. And all that's like critical for being able to read through code as well as type out what you meant. And stuff like the okay, so igloo is the value. Value is on the right side of the colon. So for, right now you'd be assigning a dictionary to a dictionary, which is a little confusing. So let's just delete what's in between the quotes for igloo and give that a different name. That's like Greg. Greg has cooler and Woody has igloo. So I'm a fancy camping store guy. No, okay, but yeah, not in quotes because cooler is a variable. And that variable points to this dictionary that you made. Oh no, it's still a dictionary. So colon. Remember, you can always reference the lines above. When you called igloo, it gave you the exact format of how a dictionary is received. Okay, so now, unfortunately, that's not the greatest advice because cooler is not a string. That what we want to refer to is a variable, so it's not going to be in quotes for that part. So just type cooler, no quotes, no brackets.
No quotes, okay.
Yeah, cool. And then comma, and then in quotes is the key for whatever you want to call the igloo. Maybe that's for the ants. That's for me. Hooray! And then close that string, and then define the value assigned with that key, not in quotes, igloo. All right, and then let's look at what's in picnic. Look at,
Sweet.
all right,
You've got the cooler and I've got the igloo and I am carrying one beverage, which is a Coke.
right,
You've got the better cooler. You have a Modelo.
that's right. All right, so Modelo by Grupo Modelo, owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev of Belgium, the most Mexican of beer cerveza is. Okay, so
then
if you wanted to pull the Modelo out, do you remember how to do that? Since it's 2 layers down. So from picnic, you need to find Woody's beer. How do you do that? Hint, press up for a while so you find the part where we were pulling something out of either the cooler or the igloo. Right, keep going up. This is there you go. So that would be pulling the snack out, right? All right, but now that would be assigning chips to the snack. We want to be pulling something out, not assigning something to. So I think, yeah, there you go. So that's how you reference a value in there. So that's going to get the beverage out of cooler, but you want to get something out of picnic. So go picnic. And then find either Greg or I guess there's no beverage in Woody's because in Woody's it's beer. All right, so will that work? No. Why didn't that work? Does picnic have a beer in it? Hint, like 6 lines up, we define what picnic was. It's got 2 things, 2 keys. Greg, Woody. Okay, now that's a value. When you call in something in a dictionary, it's the thing on the left, which is called the key.
Say that part again when it's on the left.
The left side is the key, the right side is the value. So key, Greg, value, cooler. Key, Woody, value, igloo.
Nope.
Ooh, now keep in
Woody.
mind, it's a string that you're passing. So how do you do a string? Yes. Very good.
That it?
That's going to be assignment. So let's just get rid of the igloo and the colon. And then let's look at what that gives you. All right, so if you look back up to when we develop or define picnic, by passing it Woody, what you're getting is the value that was inside igloo, and that's that dictionary: beer, Modelo, food, apple. And so
And
that now assume you were in that dictionary because that's what picnic past the string Woody gives you. How then would you pass the string beer in order to get the value of Modelo? And this is where it gets a little tricky. Hint, it's another one of those brackets with a string in it. Yeah, you haven't done it yet. And so, all right, so type bracket. square bracket. And then pass a string for one of those keys, either beer or food. Boom.
There we go.
Nicely done.
It would probably make more sense if there was more variety of things in an actual cooler. Because
Totally.
it's hmm.
I totally agree. And so we're going to start getting into that. But that's basically where we ended up last time. But this time it only took, it took a little less time than last time. So good job.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of that exercise. We're actually kind of just not going to use the REPL after this, but minimize the terminal a little bit, pull about halfway down. And then open up a new tab in the, yeah, so I think you want to go file, new, text file, yep. That works, Python file.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. In the terminal, can you see any of that old stuff? Is it gone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the mysecondpython.py at the top. Is it in that terminal? No, it is not. Okay, so let's grab one of those dictionaries. Scroll down a little bit. And get like the mycat one. All right, let's copy that over into our new file. So new tab, untitled one, just to the right at the top part. That's the terminal area. So, oh, hey, look at that. Oh, awesome. Yeah, okay, good.
I pressed the over arrow and it woke up.
Interesting. Okay, so go to the tab untitled one at the top next to mysecondpython.py. It's the tab. Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. So let's copy some of this stuff over. Go scroll up a little bit, and then let's get the definition of cooler up there. So yeah, probably like help a little bit. I'm gonna like circle stuff real quick for you. Okay, so scroll up and then stop scrolling. Scroll, yeah, okay, okay, stop scrolling. Okay, so let's grab this part. Do you see my line?
Gotcha.
Cool. Copy that and then paste it here.
Oh, it doesn't go the other direction.
Yeah, I think it's because it's effectively DOS, and DOS doesn't have any notion of copy paste.
Okay.
Okay, so let's grab this one now.
Whoa.
And then bring that up here. All right, cool. So then let's scroll down and let's get the definitions for igloo. Oh, that's a little too far. A little further up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this guy. And then bring him up here. Good deal. Okay, and then let's get the definition of picnic. Yeah, that one. And bring it up here.
Okay.
Okay,
We
so
have a cooler chips, and we have an igloo that has apple and Modelo. You're carrying the cooler. You're carrying the igloo, and I'm carrying the cooler.
perfect. Okay, so let's hit save on that. And then let's save this as like dictionary underscore exercise. Dot py. Ooh, actually, you know what? I think it's gonna, yeah, dot py. Cool. All right, and then hit save.
Do I need to put it since it's already saving it as?
You know, I don't really know Windows that well. It probably would have done it right, but .py is pretty explicit and it won't mess it up, so you can hit save.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's go back to the terminal. Now you've preserved all of your work there. So let's go down to the terminal over here. And then let's type exit, and then open paren, close paren like that. Okay, so you want to be down here in the terminal instead of in the editor. Okay, so do you see how it's giving you this suggestion to to use an open parenthesis and a close parenthesis? You want to type it like that because it's a function. Okay, so that appears to have worked. Cool, good stuff. All right, so let's see where we are here. I think you might be where you need to be. So let's list the contents of this staying in terminal down here. Type ls and then hit enter. And that's a Linux command that's going to tell you what you've got there. So yeah, okay, so we got dictionary exercise. If you scroll back down, yeah, this thing, we're going to be running this dictionary exercise. Okay, so we're going to do the command to help us run dictionary exercise. Do you know, have you run a Python file yet from this type of interface? Doesn't seem like it. Okay, so type Python space. Oh, oh, nice. Yeah, no, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, so
But
Python.
that isn't it the first thing we did, and that's running.
Yeah, but that was inside the REPL. So we're now outside of Python and we're in the command line interface. Python will give you those like three greater than symbols, and I'll also have that header that says like Python 3.11 and all that. But now we see this C : users Grego OneDrive desktop for VA, all that. That is the command line. That's like the DOS command prompt. So we are currently in the folder that has this new thing that you've made called dictionary exercise.py. Let's save that. Oh no, it's fine. You just put the exit thing in there. That's why it says, that's why it has a dot, which means I have changes which I have not saved. Okay, so type Python space and then like capital D and then maybe I, and then from there, if you hit tab, it should complete that. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, so that's fine. I think that actually is accurate. That is exactly what you want. Because basically what you've done there is you've defined 3 dictionaries, but then you've done nothing to actually try to pull any data out of them. Now, unfortunately, the idea of a picnic right now doesn't really exist. If you wanted to do that, and not good, that's good intuition. I'll show you how to do that now. So go back into Python, type Python. And then hit enter. And then if you want, you can do the import this because it's fun. Because this is where you would do that. Yep.
You want me to read it just maybe as like a.
Up to you. You know, it could be like a little esprit de corps thing.
Yeah, it won't take long.
All right, speed reading this time. Last time was dramatic reading.
It was.
No, you do it however you want. This is it's all content, baby.
Import this, The Zen of Python by Tim Peters. Beautiful is better than ugly. Explicit is better than implicit. Simple is better than complex. Complex is better than complicated. Flat is better than nested. Sparse is better than dense. Readability counts. Special cases aren't special enough to break the rules. Although practicality beats purity. Errors should never pass silently, unless explicitly silenced. In the face of ambiguity, refuse the temptation to guess. There should be one, and preferably only one, obvious way to do it. Although that may not be obvious at first, unless you're Dutch. Now is better than, although never is often better than right now. If the implementation is hard to explain, it's a bad idea. If the implementation is easy to explain, it may be a good idea. Namespaces are one honking great idea. Let's do more of those. And that's what we're doing.
In a certain sense, yes. Yes, we are. As the crew has pointed out, the value of a namespace is something that's attributed to objects. However, we are creating objects of a sort every single time we make one of these dictionaries. And one of the dictionaries we make refers to two other dictionaries. And if you've made them and you reference all the global values that are out there, you're going to see a whole bunch of dictionary names. And so, namespaces are a pretty good analogy for this whole like thought process here. But then the general idea with the namespace is have a descriptive way to reference important information. And so, and then like if you extended that into the actual implementation of Python, where it's written, I think it's mostly written in C. Those like structures are effectively using namespaces to allow us to do things like really simple syntax for creating dictionaries and shit. So, but as that one line points out, practicality beats purity. It was important and more practical to explain dictionaries as namespaces than to have a purely accurate definition of what a namespace is. And of course, if you're going to go for the pure and accurate way, well, one, you're going to spend a whole bunch of time arguing about annoying stuff. And two, you will miss the practicality of the lesson, which was dictionaries are cool because you get to name stuff whatever the hell you want. Instead of talking about, ooh, what's in register number 2? And oh, I'm sorry, it's not register number 2. That's register number 3 because we started at 0 and all this stuff. Like, we'll get to lists later, but we started with dictionaries. Okay, so say for example, you wanted to load in this, the 4 lines of Python code that you had created in this dictionary exercise thing. Basically. Ooh, you know what?
What?
Chicken butt. It's possible. You might need to do the dot thing. Let's try it. Okay. I don't think dictionary exercise is actually in the proper thing right now. So what you want to do is we're going to import it. And so the way you import a Python file from this is you type from space, and I think you might need to pass it the like thing. So it's going to be dot and then a slash and then dictionary underscore exercise. Yeah, just like that. And then capital D, because it's got to be the exact thing. So capital D dictionary. And then after dictionary underscore, and then lowercase exercise. And then space, and then you go, yeah, actually, you don't do the .py. I think it's assumed that it's a Python file. Yeah, so space, and then import, and then space, And then there's this computer value for that means like wildcard means like everything star. Just so shift 8. Yeah, there you go. Now I'm not certain about the directory thing, so let's hit enter there. Okay. Let's just hit up and let's try that again. And then delete the / thing. And let's just try that now. Oh, okay, cool. So that should have loaded your dictionary. So yeah, perfect. Yeah, boom. Yeah, so now you didn't have to go back through and do all this like crazy shit. You've already got it in that file, and now you've imported that file, and now you can reference those variables that are in there. And so let's do something kind of fun. Okay, so basically what you've done is you've loaded those few lines of code, those 4 lines of code, as though you had typed them in again yourself. So
Right.
that file that's up there, if you made changes to it and then tried to reference those new changes, so let's say, for example, you made a dictionary that's called like beers, and then you defined like Mexican beer, Modelo, Belgian beer, Chimay, and then you updated your beer in Igloo to point towards that dictionary. And so now in Woody's Igloo, there's a dictionary of beers. And so instead of just saying the string Modelo, it would point to a further dictionary that says, you know, Mexican beer, Modelo, Belgian beer, Chimay.
Right.
And so if you made those changes in the top one, so let's do that real quick. So let's go, yeah. Actually, maybe pull down the terminal so it's not in the way quite so much. I think it's the blue one. Oh, there you go, cool. All right, so now it gets real easy. Now you can start to do the like copy paste thing. So let's copy line 2. Yeah, Igloo. Oh, I'm sorry, 3. My bad. I was in Python mode. 3rd line. I was like, oh, 3rd line. That means it's 2, not 3. All right, so you can just copy that, paste it on line 5. And then also you can actually just select the thing. You don't have to be like hitting the arrows around anymore. So highlight Igloo, and then let's call that beers instead.
I was just going to change like one, like even if the item is apples versus oranges, it's gonna,
Okay, so let
like, it
me
doesn't
just
matter.
for the sake of understand like 2 things. Let's change this into change Igloo to foods. Also, you can use the cursor now. Like you can just highlight stuff. So call it foods, or just food. That's fine too. And then food is now. Let's make this is a thing like bread is sourdough, and then like and then maybe do another type of food. Meat, you could do salami or something, or you could do condiment is butter.
Definitely
Bacon.
big.
Oh, now we're talking. All right, so let's save that. I think you can just type Control S, and that should do it.
Oh, and we're going to save it over the second.
Just the first one's fine. We don't need to change the name or anything. We'll just save it over that thing. Okay, so now you've saved this file, and if we go into terminal, I want to show you that if you try to look for food, it's not going to be there. Oh, don't do
unless
that
I,
yet. That's gonna
right.
that is a good instinct. Also, highlighting is not going to work in this area, unfortunately. So first, let's just type food. And then it's going to say food is not defined. All right, so now your instinct was correct. Let's load it again. So from dictionary, that boom. Hit enter, and now look for food. Uh-oh, what? Okay, it's possible that you need to be out of Python. So let's go exit, paren, open parentheses, close parentheses, boom. All right, and then let's go back in. So just press like, yeah, that's fine too. Cool. And then you should be able to get to the old instructions by hitting up. Yep, there you go. Cool. And then up a few more times to food. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, all right. So I guess you needed to be in or out of Python. So, oh, that's a bummer. But they would have allowed us to do that. I feel like I can do that on Mac. Man, Mac is the superior development environment because it's basically Linux. Okay, cool. So now for your igloo over here. Let's like take this whole line and copy it. All right, and then actually cut it. Oh wait, no, you know what? Let's just update the value of food. So we're going to do something kind of like this. Only it's going to be like the cooler snack thing. Oh, are you doing? You're changing the beer. That's fine.
Did you want? Okay. Explain again with the brackets. So in igloo, what are we doing
Okay,
with this one?
so yeah. All right, so let's go. Okay, do this part though. Do you see like the bracket thing?
Okay, so for this, we're doing.
Just copy the bracket part after cooler, like bracket snack equals chips. And then replace this whole part for the igloo. All right, and then just paste that. All right, so now we're going to update the value for food. This part's going to be getting updated. And they update it by doing that assignment there. And then erase the whole string thing. And you're going to replace it with the variable food, so no quotes. Whoa, what the hell? I mean, that should work, but that's just kind of crazy. What did you, like a cat jump on the keyboard or something? All right, cool. So let's save that, Control S. Okay, cool. So like the little dot went away, so that's how you can tell in Visual Studio Code that you have appropriately saved your changes. Okay, so now if we go in here, unfortunately, if you look for igloo, it's still going to tell you your food is an apple. But yes, so you got it right. You got to exit. Send back in, just press up. Oh, yeah, it's cool. Press up a few times. Import that shiz. Uh-oh. What does that mean? Cannot assign to literal. Now what have we done wrong here? Oh, I see. Okay, so you've got an assignment here. And so you want to just get rid of that equal sign. Yeah, cool. All right, so let's run it back. Control save, exit out of here. Good, your dot is missing. That looks good stuff. All right, hit up instead of typing. Boom. We're saving keystrokes left and right here, but mostly by pressing up. And do that up. But So you haven't imported anything yet. So you want to do that from thing and then just, yeah, there you go. That's the one. All right, now you've done that. So now we look at food. Boom. Okay, so igloo now. Let's look at what's in igloo. Now igloo is going to kind of look like what picnic looked like before, right? So it's got that dictionary within the dictionary. And so
Yeah.
now if we look at picnic, so let's do picnic. Now picnic's got a dictionary within a dictionary within a dictionary. We have to go deeper.
So it's just
So
close bracing everything at the end. No, not everything.
yes. Yeah, so there are two coolers,
It's
right?
it's close bracing.
Yeah, so this is the end of the food. This is the end of the igloo. And then this is the end of the picnics.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so
It's
now,
like not really.
yeah, all right. So say now I'm gonna know what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna ask you to print out one of the values that's inside the food inside Woody's igloo. And so let's find the bacon. How do you print what is in? Okay, so a print is a function, so you need parentheses. So parentheses. And then we're spitting out a string. Oh no, so it's a function. So the function doesn't have, strings have like quotes around them, but only when you're assigning stuff. Okay, so it's kind of like the exit thing where it's at the end, you've got the little curly braces.
Like that.
Just let's clear that line and just type print, no additional stuff. And then you do open. And now let's reference from the picnic, we want to get all the way down to the bacon. And so in the picnic, we need to get to Woody's cooler. And in Woody's cooler, we need to get to Woody's food. And then in Woody's food, we want to get Woody's meat. And that should, at the end, show us the bacon. And so when we were pulling the Modelo out before, that was 2 rounds of brackets, right? Oh, very good. Referencing is past work. Yeah, like that. Oh, you were right there. There it is.
But this will need to have a
All
bracket
right,
as
so
well, right?
let's copy that anyway, and for good measure, let's put it up here. Cool. And then let's scroll down anyway. And then let's get it done in the REPL, and then we'll do the part in the file. Okay, so it's going to be something like this: print picnic, no quotes or anything like that, because what's going to like come out is a string.
So
Cool.
what I need to do is I need to put square brackets around.
You need to put square brackets around the values that we're going to be looking for. So first, what you're looking for is the dictionary for our picnic. Right. And so that's just picnic. All right, no square brackets. So okay, so now we've got a 3 deep scenario here. So first things first, we need to recognize where the bacon is. And that is obviously always in Woody's thing. So that was actually already accurate. So something like this. Yep. Okay, and now we're looking for the bacon is a food, right? It's not a beer. So it's gonna be something like this, but instead of beer, it's food, right? Okay, but keep in mind the food is a string. And so yes, there you go. Good job. Okay, but that's only gonna give you the dictionary of foods, right? And you could do that. You might as well do that just to show yourself what you got going on there. Okay, no, he's gonna go straight for it. Cool. Yep. Yep, you got it. And then close the bracket, and there we go. And then that should give you the bacon. Okay, so let's copy that
And if you
and bring
just
it up.
got knocked in the head from some volleyball that went astray, you'll probably have to dig down to then get to what bacon is, because you don't remember what's in.
Yeah,
I've
no.
forgotten who you are. Who's we're on
What
a
is
picnic.
bacon?
Who's on
I'm
the
sorry,
picnic with?
let me first reference my dictionary of dictionaries. Oh, I see bacon is meat. Okay. What is meat? Well, where is meat is more important. It's in this woody thing. Well, okay. And then we're at a picnic? Okay. What else is there? There's nothing else. Only picnic. All right, so let's copy this whole last thing and bring it up here.
Replace that one.
Yeah, get rid of that. Sweet. All right, let's save that. Control S. All right, exit out of here. Hit up. And then space.
Space.
Okay, yeah. So let's do the import thing from dictionary, and then before you hit enter, oh, there you go. Okay, so it finally gets down to a part where it hits a print part. It says print.
And then
What?
it knows what to do.
Yep.
So what is what color would you call that? Is it yellow? No, yellow is when you say Python. What is the color? Is that beige for print?
That's a good question. But yeah, that is the color of a function in your current configuration for Virtual Studio Code Python formatting. That's something you can entirely customize to your own liking. But yeah. Okay, so you
Standard is,
are.
can you take somebody else's craziness and then just say revert to the original colors?
Yeah.
Like you get code from somebody and it's great, except I can't freaking understand how to quickly look at it because all these colors are messing with my understanding of reality. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if all you know is oranges and all of a sudden there's blue oranges, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So can you like say
Revert.
like whatever, or is
Now,
this different than Mac? Like that's what I'm asking. Are these colors the same for your Mac?
they might be similar on Visual Studio. I think there's maybe some things you can do with on there. I mean, it's really important to learn about or like integrated development environments. And so this is like really important stuff because it's all about readability. Python's pretty good at it, but then like fine tuning things is really critical. So I think in Vue, you should be able to start to get into like ways to customize appearance. And then let's see, there's probably something in there for like coloring, maybe. I don't know, maybe it's in file or it's in settings. Maybe preferences. Ooh, themes. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, color theme. Interesting.
Move out of the way. All right, file, no.
Settings,
Theme,
themes. Yeah.
color
Now
themes, and
there's a
what was
whole
that?
set of people in this space that would like make fun of me for not knowing exactly where something like this is for something like this, but like literally this is how I navigate computer systems, because you could spend all your time just memorizing manuals and stuff and you'd never even scratch the surface. But if you if you can quickly read what
Well,
certain things are in the interface, you can take a good guess at where things are at. So, usually
my
things like
rationale,
this.
my rationale would be, I'm sure other people want to play around and make it their own colors, but as far as I go, I would like to have things uniform so that way if I get something, I can just say, oh, I don't really want to work in solarized light. I want to work in. So what are we working in? What is the thing called?
I
How do you
guess you're
know?
in dark theme of some sort. So, this is a good area for trial and error. And so, dark high contrast. Let's see. What's that look like?
You
That doesn't seem like high contrast. Was that?
change
It seems like the window
themes,
just went
color
to the
theme.
back. Okay.
All right, that's just changing like the background and stuff. I'm not wanting that. I'm wanting these critters. Can you change all the things, all the functions to be orange and all the uh dictionaries to be, wait, not dictionary. What are these? Variable.
Well, I would say try more now. So it's good as settings. And unfortunately, this is okay. So maybe we could remember this: Control K, Control T.
Control K, Control T. Okay.
Okay, and then what is this one? That sounded cool. Mono Kai. Ooh, Abyss.
Dim-
That sounds super dark. Ooh, Dark
What is
Modern. Ooh.
dimmed? Yeah, see, all it's doing is changing like the background. Did
Yeah,
it
so
change?
you want to choose specific values for.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that. Control K, Control T. So like just type Control K and it probably opens up a menu, and then Control T. Oh, okay, cool. That's pretty good. Well, I would say before you start delving down the rabbit hole of how to create your own Visual Studio Code, Python formatting customization, try a bunch of these. Let's look at a bunch of them.
Well,
This is we're turning this into a Visual Studio Code advertisement. Light mode, I don't like for two reasons. One, it burns my eyes, and two, um, if you turn all the pixels on, all the RGBs, all the reds, the greens, the blues, then your
oh,
screen will be white. And so if
really?
you have a light background, whoa, that's an angry one. I know someone who
Circle.
codes like that. It's wild. Um, yeah, so was it KT again? Control K, Control T. Control K, Control T. There you go. Red, that's hilarious.
So this does change the colors, but it doesn't change. It changes it because the whole background changes. And so this print function used to be beige, and now it's like a light blue. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm getting at? Like some people are super duper silly with like being like, this is my code, and so I'm gonna make it as freaking particular as possible for me. If I
Absolutely.
manage to get a hold of if I manage to get a hold of that code, I'm gonna be going bonkers trying to have my visual cortex translate. And I don't know, maybe you can't make your own if you cannot make your own special changes,
You
all I'd
can.
have to do is figure out which one I'm used to. And now I'm lost because I don't remember which one I was on.
I think you were on Visual Studio Dark, which I think was at the top. There, that one. Yeah. Oh no, because like that one, the dictionary and the functions are the same. So maybe you were a different one, high contrast. Control K, Control T, and then it was a dark mode. Yeah, see
Yeah,
light
see these
mode. So other than the eye searing aspect of this, the other part about dark modes is it doesn't actually it uses less energy, not like lots less energy, but a black pixel requires no energy at all, and so a dark pixel, but a
that
white
reminds my
yeah.
laptop is super duper silly, and so it is literally just able to run on plugged in. So if the wire wiggles, I'm gonna disappear because it'll die instantly. And so please forgive me, and I'll be back in a jiffy.
Okay, well we'll minimize jiggle, but I think you were in high contrast, dark contrast. There we go.
Yes, just plain old dark high contrast.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that one's not that bad. All things considered, this is like a function is one color, and then like the dictionary is another color, and the strings are other
Right.
colors. And then it's giving you, is that alternating colors on the brackets in there?
No, they're all
So
the
you can,
same color for
okay. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it comes through a little bit different. Cool. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where like, yeah, what's that?
there's something. When I selected this, it also selected the other one. See? Woody and
Oh
Woody are
yeah.
both being
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the multi-select stuff is wild.
right. So
I
what are you
think
discovering here?
all right, so highlight the one of the Woodies. And then I think I'm just gonna have you try some stuff. Try right clicking on Woody. And then maybe you can go highlight or change all occurrences. Yeah. One up from there. Yeah. Okay, so now you can delete that. Just start deleting. And it deleted both. And now if you type, it's going to type in both locations. Right. Now, unfortunately, you would need to make that a string. But yeah, cool. There you go. Yeah, and so you made that change in both places by typing once. So good
That
find.
is your name.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff. And then that can be really important because then you're like, okay, I want to do things like I'm going to format stuff, but I don't want to format every single thing every single time. I want to format all the commas after them. I want to put an enter or something like that. Cool. All right. Well, so that was a fun one. That was basically a reiteration of the last exercise, but now moving into a more grown up version of what coding is like, which is you're typing in this kind of like word processor type experience where you can actually use your mouse, and then you can do cool stuff like editing 2 things at a time or 3 things at a time if there were multiple instances. Now, people may point out, oh, you can do stuff like that in like Emacs and stuff like that, and that's all well and good, but like that's all keyboard navigation. It's pretty wild. It's amazing when someone's really good at it, and it's truly powerful once you get good at it. But it's basically not important these days, and it's a lot more intuitive to work in these interfaces. So anytime you're looking at someone else's code, you're going to load it up in an environment like this, and then you're going to be making changes, and then you're going to be running it from there. So let's hop out of here, go exit, and
That just answered my question.
what's that?
If I get somebody else's code and I load it into here, it's going to go by my color choice preferences.
Correct.
So I don't have to worry about changing
Other people's. Yeah.
other people.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
everyone else can have their own interface preferences. And then like what it comes down to is you've all determined that you're going to be writing your code in Python, and that's going to be observing its own context or its own syntax, and then that's going to be uniform across all of them, unless of course you're all on different versions or something like that. But even then, it's not going to vary too much. But yeah, like you point out, you want to be able to look at this and understand what parts of speech or parts of code are represented in what you're looking at. And so yeah, you just do that on an IDE level, integrated development environment. And so no 2 IDEs are configured the same. So you get to do it however you like. And then you start a new job and you get a new computer and you're like, holy shit, I forgot how much I had put into setting up the other one. Oh no. Oh, yeah, so exit out. Oh, he's finding the exit. It's in there somewhere.
I was gonna try and I can't pull up the.
So what? Oh, import this.
Yeah, I wanted to see what part of what that lesson was is applicable to the poem. So
Let's see. I guess we've kind of broken the, yeah, so readability, I think, is the real thing that was why I chose dictionaries for your starting point. Because dictionaries are all about readability. You can use strings to determine the keys. There's a much more, I think that the value or the data structure that was created before dictionaries is called a list. And a list is referenced not by strings for key values, they're referenced just by the position in the list. And I don't think that's nearly as readable. I think if you're looking for the food.
lists in dictionaries or not? That's what I had put in my head.
What's that?
Lists are ordered in dictionaries or not?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what else. Flat is better than nested. Well, realistically, we have kind of broken that one because we nested a bunch of dictionaries. So bad us. Oh well. But the fact of the matter is,
If we nest it, is it simpler?
Exactly, and that's where this part is, where we land.
Right.
Practicality beats purity, because if flat is better than nested, and then you try to apply that to everything, well, then you're trying to be pure. And then, in this case, we lose out on a lot of like conversational context with the nesting, because the top level was a picnic. And what did we have at the picnic? We had coolers. And what did we have in our coolers? Well, I don't know. It depends on what cooler you're referring to. Let's see. We didn't do anything with errors. We're not going to worry about that too much unless we screw things up. But we're not going to do like there are ways to handle them. Let's see. only one obvious way to do that. Well, we did kind of do things. Yeah.
The question I had was about in chapter 6, where it had, instead of slashes and slash n's and slash r's and whatnot, this is what I was learning from just putting quotes around the whole darn piece of the string, is the obvious way to do it to me was ignore having all those strings be super duper hard to read and whatnot. And the one way that you should do it, I think, is not have to worry about every single instance that you're going to have to put slash whatever's in, and just put quotes around it and be done with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could be right. I think yeah,
What do
well,
I know?
yeah. Well, the thing is, prints are pretty useful, like in the development process. But once something's running, there's not a whole lot of printing that's going on.
Okay.
Because if something's really running, say we're going to get to the point eventually where we're doing your Discord bot, and the Discord bot, we're really just putting it through its paces. There's 1 million people on the server, and like 10,000 of them on at all times, and 100 of them are just hammering this poor little hardworking bot. And so the bot is just, yes, master, yes, master, yes, master, just answering every single thing. And every time he answers something, he's going to say, oh, well, this guy said something about going to YouTube, and so here's the things about the YouTube we decided to print about, and then here's what he asked for, and here's what it came back, and here's what was wrong, and here was right, and here's what we sent, and here's when we sent it, and all this stuff. And it would print it to the console. And then there's 100 other like commands that were coming in from all these like crazy users that just absolutely loved the Newman bot and all that. And so they're all printing to the console. And so they're just, every new print pushes the last one up. So it's just, it's looking like the Matrix.
Right.
Text is flying all over the place. So what you do when you get to that like really high level of complexity in terms of like how many instructions are being issued at a time is you create these like logs, and those logs will be just printing to a file. And then if you want to saw what happened, you would go back to that log and say, Frymatic asked for something from like Pornhub, and it gave it to him, but we already made this rule where no Pornhub stuff is supposed to come up. So what was the error that was handled there, and like why did that go through instead of sending the red flag emoji like we talked about, that sort of thing. And so you'd go through the log and do that. So a print is going to be filling up your your terminal type space, your the window where the bot's server is running. And sometimes it's fun to have those prints going, and just have this one window that's just going berserk.
I really like having this become something that's like a piece of what we do in me learning stuff, because I think there's so many ways to give examples of all of these, and if I can get all the lessons able to be learned in my head, I'll be able to solve problems more beautifully.
Yeah,
I pulled one beautifully.
absolutely. It's better than ugly, but sometimes being able to just solve something is fairly ugly, and it can become beautiful later.
Well, what is it? The
Which part? Let's see.
I believe it would be the practicality beats purity. Like, if you want it to be as perfect as possible and you just can't do it, well, that's purity, and that's going to make you have nothing function. But if you can just figure something out and it does what you want, it might be ugly, but it's practical. So
Exactly.
eventually you can go through and make it beautiful and whatnot. But the lesson there would be the practicality.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so I have, oh, I'm starting to get blown up here, and I booked out like 90 minutes of my time for this, so we're right at 90 minutes. But you did look at that automate the boring stuff, chapter 6. So I wanted to show you one real quick thing, and that would be sort of so in the terminal, just around here. Oh, actually, yeah. Scroll up. Let's look at that. I think it's slicing screens or slicing strings is what I'm interested in. So head back to yeah, you were actually right exactly where I was talking about. So if you go back to automate the boring stuff, switch over to your internet explorer,
Oh,
whatever you've got, Chrome or so yeah, this thing, the little area. Yeah, so let's expand that screen, and we're going to be looking at indexing and slicing strings and the few segments below that. Okay, cool. So that's probably enough right there. So obviously we've gotten to like some sweet Monty Python jokes. And like I said before, there's this really common data structure called a list. And, you know, honestly, tons of what you're going to be doing is working with lists of things. But I didn't want to really get into that yet because that starts to become like intellectually complex and therefore a little dense and a little confusing. And that's why I started with dictionaries.
yeah,
And instead of doing lists, I wanted to do the most important kind of list, in my estimation, in Python, which is a list of characters, which is also called a string.
that's true.
And so we can do the same operations with strings that we can do with lists. So let's go back into Visual Studio Code and head to the terminal. And we're going to make this little spam hello world thing. Okay, so you're already there. You already loaded up. We could probably just, bring that up. So let's make our spam. Yeah, spam equals hello world and hello world, or just like hello is equal to, and then in quotes, hello or Python or, Inquisition or something. Perfect. Nice. All right, hit enter. Great. And then let's print that. So print spam. All right, so spam is a variable. And so there's no need to put the quotes around it because the quotes denote a string. Now you do need to have the parentheses.
Oh, Karen, that's Come on, brain.
There you go. Cool, nice. And then just for edification's sake, hit up and then put some like spaces around those. Oh, don't do up twice. That was broken. Go up once so that you get to that one. Yeah, there you go. And then put a whole bunch of space in there and put some spaces after the parentheses and stuff. And then like put them in here too. Then do it like hit up and the same thing. Okay, so unfortunately you're not going to be able to use that. Yeah, so boom, and then like, all right, so now that's going to break things.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that string is the same thing. So if you hit enter, that should still do the same thing. Cool. Yeah, but now do that thing that you were doing where you're putting spaces between the letters in the string that was the variable. Because now what you're doing is you're fucking with the value of the namespace. And so you've passed it a different string as far as the interpreter is concerned. And so you've messed with the namespace that is, you know, the variable name from the like interpreter level of things. And so, yeah, so white space is kind of like, you can mess around with it a little bit until you start getting into things that require nesting. In which case, if you mess up one space on an indent, the whole thing can break. It'll be really annoying. And it's kind of funny sometimes. Now that might do some messed up stuff. I think. Oh my.
It doesn't care.
Don't care. Okay, so I think what you did there. And so let's go like breakfast
Sure that they were equal
equals.
in both.
Yeah, so if you go like
I made sure
breakfast.
they were equal.
Yeah,
I
perfect.
do
Yeah.
that. No, it just prints it with.
Right. So now you'd print one more close parentheses to finish that. Oh, now you'd really break it. Because now you're actually still in the middle. Okay, now you've escaped from it. But okay, so let's do something like breakfast. Oh, okay. He's back in it. He's trying stuff. I like it.
There.
All right.
That's
So like
that's the
breakfast equals, and then put spam in parentheses. So breakfast. Good. Yeah. Not a string. So no quotes. Breakfactor. That's fine too. Breakfact. Nice. All that matters in those things is that when you come back to them later, you spell it the same way you did before it. So now in parentheses, put spam. Now, I think, all right, now this I think is actually another data structure type called a tuple. So hit enter. All right, now let's see what breakfast says when you just call breakfast. Breakfast.
break slowly. Break slowly. Okay, so it puts it in singular quotes.
Yeah, but that's pretty accurate because it's still. You know, if some of the headier guys were here, they might have some clever explanation for what's going on. But I don't know that much about Python, so
Message in the comments, guys.
yeah, like and subscribe. Toss a coin to your algorithm. Cool. All right, so let's look at spam in terms of some of the letters in it. So this is something you can do with. So you're just going to go spam and then just like calling a key value, use a bracket. Let's just delete that because you've already established the value of spam is hello world. And then delete the equal sign, and then you're going to do a square bracket. Now you want the spam part. So square bracket. And then we're going to go from the first character. So where do we start in our things here? Was it 1 or is it something else? Remember, it's kind of like messed up. Hint, it's not 2, but also it's not 1. We start from 0. So 0.
The 0th.
Yes. So from the 0th position, type 0, and then a colon. And then let's see like the first 6 letters. And so 0 to 6, so type 6. Okay, so it's going to be 0:6. I like the concept of 0 to 6. That is definitely how we would write it if we were writing English. All right, and then close the thing. Close the bracket. All right, so now that's going to give us what's called a slice. So is that 6 letters? Yes, that's 6 letters. So we're going to get into this next time. We're going to mess around more with slicing strings. Oh, there you go. Cool. Yeah. And then, do like 1 to 5. 6, 6, 6. And 1 to 5 makes it British. So how do you do 1 to 5? There you go.
Hello.
Hello. There you go. Cool. So there's also another thing you can do with strings and lists. Since a string is just a list of characters, you can get what's called the length. And let's see, how does that work? I think you go like spam and then delete the bracket things, both of them. Okay, I sometimes will just like trial and error this because sometimes I mess them up. But I think you can go spam and then type a period and then LEN and then open parentheses, close parentheses, and then do
Then
that.
enter.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So messed it up. So let's go LEN. So delete that whole thing. So type LEN and then in parentheses type the variable spam, not the string spam. So in parentheses, variable spam. So if it's variable, no quotes. And then close that. There we go.
What is length? That?
That's going to give us the length of the string. So 13. 13 characters long. And so let's do the spam slice thing. So spam 0 to 13. And that should do the whole thing. Hello world. Boom. Crazy stuff, huh? And so what that's doing is saying, give me everything, give me each character from the beginning of this range to the end of this range. And the beginning of this range is the first number, and the end of the range is the last number. And then show me everything. Now, if that's 13 characters long, and you're starting at 0, he's looking for something. Ooh, now, is that even in there? No, I don't know that there's a length to that, but it may not also exist. We may not have imported, but let's try it anyway. Do it. Okay, so it's going to be a curved parentheses. Functions are parentheses. Those things are going to be referencing. So that's a brace. That's the squiggly one.
Okay.
You want to be doing the one that's like shift 9, the round parentheses. All right, again, the cursor doesn't really work in the terminal. Okay, and then close that. Yeah. Ooh. Right,
That's
because
weird.
picnic, well, so picnic only has 2 key value pairs. One key was Greg, the other key was Woody.
Greg.
Right, so effectively, it's just referencing 2 values, the igloo and the cooler. And so that's accurate. It's just 2 items. And then I think basically everything else also is only like 2 items. So if you did like length of cooler, that should be like your bread and your meat or whatever. Or wait, no, what did you have in there? You had a beverage and a something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 things. And then my cooler had beer and food, and then the food was, oh wait, and then the beer, oh yeah, the food was like bread and meat. And so then length of food, the final, also 2. Boom. But then also, if you just look at what's in, if you look at what's in picnic, it's going to give you this nested thing. Ah, right, yeah, but meat is just a string. Now, if you just passed it a string, so in quotes, meat, and then close quotes, and close parentheses, it's just going to give you the length of that string. It's a 4-letter word.
Um, no, no.
Oops.
I was trying to get it to just say me.
Oh, okay, so me. All right, so there's this messed up part with iterating through lists of things, whether it's a list of items or a list of characters, aka a string. The last value you don't actually touch. You stop before you get to that. And so the second letter of meat is realistically number 1. But what you're doing is you're going to the second value. So what you do is you go 0 to 2. And so it's going to look at 0 and 1 and then stop. And then there is some clever like information theory problem. Oh, okay. So what if instead you put quotes around meat and then did that whole register thing? Try that. Boom. Yeah. So like, so basically like, it's important to learn this idea that there are like references to things. And that's kind of the point of like starting with the idea of a namespace. And so like you're establishing a variable, and that like the variable is like hopefully named in a fashion that helps you to understand what it means to the rest of the program, or at least the rest of the function in its locality. But what it's doing is it's pointing to something that's more valuable to the rest of the program at large, which is like the data that it represents. And so in the space of like looking at the slice of spam, and like a few characters out of the string that was stored in the variable spam, you're just passing it spam. But realistically, spam is like the value that is stored that points to that string. And so in this case, you're just passing it a string and saying, hey, slice this up for me. But when you say spam, you don't have to throw out the quotes because it's pointing to something that's in quotes. And so that's what like a lot of like functional programming ends up doing, is like you're asking some other part of the program, like, hey, could you do something with this and then send it back to me? In order to understand what's coming back to you, you need to go into the function itself and say like, oh, what am I going to get back? Am I going to get back a string? I'm going to get back a number, like an integer or a floating point thing. Am I going to get back a list of things? Am I going to get back a dictionary of things? Am I going to get back like an object or like a list of objects or whatever? Like what you're getting back is kind of is represented by like whatever variable you're storing it in. So in this case, you're passing it the actual thing that's getting sliced up, and that's that string.
Cool. Well, I
Yeah,
don't want to be pushing other people's time out of your life. So,
cool. Well, good stuff. Yeah, but so we went over a few things. We went back we repeated through the Visual Studio Python REPL, and so that's what we're doing right now in the terminal. We did a recap on dictionaries, but most importantly, we made your very first Python file. Well, maybe it's your third. Who knows? It looks like you did a few with Robert and Sunny, but you've also now learned how you can run a Python file, as well as how to like load one, which is pretty big stuff. And then we did like a little bit with strings. I was thinking about doing some stuff with GPT, but I think we'll save that for the next round. But good stuff, man. We'll do this again.
so can you go over this real quick? So there's nothing that says what it's doing. It's just from, and so it knows from means import from. You're not saying import.
Right. Yeah. So if you wanted to have it so it's just import dictionary exercise, you'd need to form it up into a module. But this is basically saying like there is a file that I'd like to reference that has some stuff in it that I want to load in here without having to type it in here. And so like you can have a whole list of
And
functions.
the asterisk points to anything and everything.
It means everything that's in there, all of the variables that are defined, load those. Now you could also go import. Actually, let's exit out it here real quick and do that. So exit. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then let's go back in there just to Python. Yep. And so scroll up or hit up, go from dictionary exercise import, and then don't enter that yet. Delete the star and just type igloo. All right, and hit enter. Good stuff. Okay, cool. So, oh, okay, is that importing the whole thing? So then let's see, what type cooler. Let's see if it imported that.
I believe igloo and cooler are different dictionaries.
Yeah, so yeah, okay, cool. So it's not actually giving you that, but it also did do the whole like picnic thing, which is interesting. Yeah, so well, beer wasn't even a thing. Maybe food is a thing. How
Yeah.
about I think maybe food isn't a thing. Yeah, so igloo is the only thing that you've loaded from that. So when you say from that file name, import this part of it, it's only going to load that part of it.
Cool. Okay.
Interesting stuff, right? Yeah.
That would be if you have something bigger than this, because
Yeah, well, sometimes, say for example, you've got this a particular set of tools that you want to use, and you find some like library or package or module. They all, I think, the same-ish things, but basically, you download something from there and say it's like relating to Excel spreadsheets or something like that. But it's this giant list of tools, and all you're trying to do is do like one thing from that. If you load the whole thing, you end up it takes a little bit of extra time. It uses a little bit extra memory, and then your thing runs a little bit slower. But if you only load what you actually need, you end up with a much less bloated program.
gotcha.
Yeah, and so that's why when you do the star thing, when it's such a small file and there's so little going on, it's no problem. But yeah, if it was like a lot bigger and there was a lot more going on with every single aspect of it, and you really only needed one part, you could go, hey, from that thing, import just this one part, and then all good. All right, well, I gotta get going. Let's do this again. I think the next one is going to be just a Q&A with this one dude. But definitely let's keep it on third Thursdays, and then
July the What is it?
Something like mid-July.
Okay.
And
No, but the
then
one where it's just who's getting interviewed or who's getting
it's going to be Mike Driscoll. He's a
Mike Drift.
fellow Python podcaster. He also does a lot more things in the Python community than me. He's like a contributing author to like really famous Python kind of like blog / like document space called realpython.com. He also does like an educational company.
It's going to be at this time frame in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, I'll be there.
Cool. Yeah, and then he runs this thing called Teach Me Python. He's written several books too. Real capable dude. Good stuff though. Like I said, we're training. I'm training you to make a damn Discord bot, and I want you to get to the part where you're like, "All right, I got this. I don't need your help." And then like you'll bug me from time to time, and be like, "Hey, I ran into this thing. What did I do?" Or like, "What can I do from here?" But literally, once you get to the part where you like complete the circle on the whole like, oh, I can just like look this stuff up, and then like if I really don't know, I can ask like Chat GPT, and then get to the part where you get confident with just trying stuff, and then being able to read the errors, and then being able to understand the gobbledygook that comes out, and then you start to see the matrix. And then eventually you'll start teaching me some crazy shit. Like, look at this thing that I figured out. What does this mean? I'll be like, oh, I've seen that before. I'll be like, I have no idea. That's pretty cool though.
Control in the wrong spot. I'm going to save.
Yes, enjoy my meat, sir.
And aloha, brother.
All right. Till next time.
All righty. Bye.
Peace.